TitleMatchNetwork.com.
Well, some of my early memories was, God, it's amazing how my career started. I'll give you a little insight on that. When I first was, like I said, I was going to the TBS, the studios in Atlanta. I had the chance to meet Abdullah the Butcher. Abdullah didn't live in Atlanta, so he didn't know his way around, so he needed somebody to, kind of show him around. So I took on that task. It was a task, not a job. And I started showing Abdullah around in Atlanta, and so every Saturday morning when they did the TV tapings, I had the opportunity to go down with Abdullah the Butcher because he had no, I was driving him around, so he didn't know his way. So anyway, make a long story short, I started going to the TBS studios with Abdullah. Next thing I started doing after I started hanging around for a while, some of the guys got, kind of okay with me and relaxed with me being around. So I started getting jackets. Like when the guys went to the ring and took their coats and jackets off, I took those jackets back to the locker room. Didn't get a dime, wasn't paid a dime. Also, that after I got jackets, I started running errands. I was kind of like a gopher. I just went and got sandwiches and stuff for a lot of the wrestlers then. So what happened is a job came open, and it was a job for putting the ring up, taking the ring down. They needed somebody to do that. Well, I had been hanging around for a while, and like I said, they kind of got relaxed with me and stuff. So the promoter was Louise Manning, and Louise Manning came to me, and she asked me, that I want a job like putting the ring up, taking the ring down. So me, of course, I was real excited. I said, yeah, I'll take that job. So I took that job, putting the ring up, taking the ring down, plus I kept the ring. They had this big truck that they rented that they kept the ring on. So once I took it down, put it on the truck, I'd always take it home and keep it. One day we had a show in at the Cobb County Civic Center in Marietta, Georgia. Well, when I got there, got the ring up and everything, and we got ready for the show to start, well, we would say maybe 30 minutes before showtime, there was no referee. They had no referee. Louise Manning came to me and she asked me, she said, well, can you referee? And I told her, no, I never refereed a day in my life. All I did was just put the ring up, put the ring down. She says, well, we got to have a referee for the night. She says, I'm going to send out to one of the sports stores and get you a referee shirt. Well, I'm scared to death because I never did this. And, I'm got to get in the ring with these big guys, and I don't know, what I'm doing. And she told me, she said, well, don't worry, Teddy. She said, the guys will help you. They'll work with you. They'll take care of you. So my first match that I refereed was Ron Bass and Black Bart. It was a Texas death match. They were just bleeding all over the place. I had never seen anything like that. I am scared to death. Okay, there's blood everywhere. So, but I finally got through that. And what happened is there was a gimmick that they had, that Black Bart had, that it was like brass knucks. He had stuck it on his fingers and on his hand, and he was just beating the death out of Ron Bass. So finally, Ron Bass stops Black Bart. He gets that gimmick, and he went to hit Bart with it, but Bart did something, and they dropped that gimmick in the ring. Well, I'm thinking that the guy's killing a guy. So I picked this gimmick up, and I'm going to get rid of it. So I throw it out of the ring. There were some people sitting on the front row. Well, there was another guy there named Donnie Payne. If you go back in the day, NWA days, you may see him around the ring. He always had a shirt with NWA on it. Right. Well, his name was Donnie Payne. And Donnie Payne picked up that gimmick just before somebody in the crowd got it. And I never forget, when I threw that gimmick out, I heard Ron Bass, it was Ron Bass, and he looked over at Black Bart and he said, did you just see what the referee did? And golly, I'm like, oh my God, I'm in a world of trouble. So the way that they got the focus off of me was about time for the match to end. Charlie McGowan, God rest his soul, he was ringing the bell. And what happened, Charlie McGowan screwed up some kind of way and rang the bell too quick, or he rang the bell too late. I can't remember what it was, but anyway, it was something having to do with the bell. And he screwed the whole match up. And that way, they forgot about what I did, and they got mad at Charlie McGowan for screwing up the match, and it took all the heat off me, and they never said anything else to me about that. So basically, that's how my referee career started. That was the first match I ever had. Well, the most important thing being a referee was referee's job was a lot harder then than it is now because referees played a big part in a lot of the matches back then. Um, it was, like I said, sometimes the referee's position was more important than the competitors. So it was a lot harder then. And then there was, back then there wasn't no 4 or 5 referees. There was like one guy. I used to referee on TBS on Saturday mornings. I'd do 2 hours of the Saturday morning show. Then I'd come right back and do another 2 hours of WCW Saturday night. So it was a lot harder then, but that was good though because you learned then. You really learn your craft.
You got to work with Tommy Young, Earl Hebner, Dick Kroll, Nick Patrick, Dick Worley. Around that, or any memories of any of those names that I just mentioned?
Tommy Young, worked with him for a long time. He was, real great in helping me. He taught me a lot. I learned a lot from him. I never did get a chance to Dick Worley. I met him, but I never did work with him. But Sonny Fargo is another old name with NWA. Him, Earl Hebner. I worked Dave Hebner at the time. He was refereeing too. That's before he went to work for Vince. So, like I said, those are just some of the memories. I'm just glad I came up in that era because I learned a lot.
What makes a great referee, and how has refereeing changed over the years?
Well, the thing that makes a great referee is you don't see anything.
Yeah.
And only thing that's changed over the years, I think a lot of the rules have changed. There used to be a time that you couldn't use the closed fist. I think now you don't have to worry about that. There's no rule against that now. Just like I said, the change now is easier than it was back then because there's so many people. You know what I mean? There's so many referees. So
yeah,
those guys don't know. They got it made.
Was it hard working long title matches?
No, not really. You just had to be in shape.
Right.
I had one time. I never will forget. I had Barry Windham and Brad Armstrong. Barry Windham, God rest his soul too. Brad was a great guy. Barry Windham and Brad Armstrong. They went 30-minute Broadway in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And this little building, like a little auditorium, man, it was so hot in there. It was unbelievable. But when I finished that match, everything I had on was soaking wet. All my clothes were soaking wet. So that was a good experience.
You were there, I believe, when Ricky Steamboat won the title from Ric Flair in Chicago. I think you were the second referee who counted the pinfall.
Yes,
that?
yeah. Tommy Young was a referee. They bumped him, and I run down and made the 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Chicago Heat. Chi-Town Heat is what I think they called it.
Great match, too, by the way.
Yes, it was. Yes.
TitleMatchNetwork.com